everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, if you would hit the subscribe button or the little symbol of the bell so you'll get notifications of my latest and greatest videos. Welcome back, and today we are going to be discussing, or better yet, I'm going to be showing y'all how I dye paper. I call it paper making, even though that's not exactly what it is. It is dyeing paper for your or my Book of Shadows. A lot of people use the internet or Google Documents or anything like that now for note keeping or Book of Shadows, but for us old school witches, this is a good way to get that old school look on your paper. I love old books. I am a old book junkie, and for my personal Book of Shadows, I like it to be older looking paper. I don't want that real bright white paper. Sure, I could go out and buy some different color cardstock and, you know, throw it right on in and be done. But where's the fun in that? So today, I am going to be showing y'all how to go from a plain white sheet of paper to a slightly older looking paper. I do recommend, if you don't have much counter space, or, well, if you don't have much counter space, to use a table. I have a, just, you know, white folding table that I have a black cloth on for our next step, because it might dye the table. Knock on wood, I've never had that issue, but I do use the black cloth in case. But if you have counter space, awesome. But remember, you are going to be dyeing paper, so it's gonna take a few hours for it to dry. So make sure it's not in the way, I guess. Anyway, so you need your table, the cloth, you're gonna need some plain white paper, and I will get to the other ingredients in a second. Hang tight. Alrighty, so as I was saying, you are going to need some plain white printer paper. I got 5 sheets here because my table isn't that big, but you can do more at a time if you have the room. You're also going to need, I use Louisiana iced tea, caffeinated, because that is what we drink and it's what we have on hand. But I have used plain black tea, like loose tea, and I've tried different black teas, and to my surprise, they come out with no color. So I do suggest, if you don't have tea on hand, run up to the store and get you some Louisiana tea. Anyway, so now y'all understand why I said black cloth, because we are going to be using tea, and if anybody's ever drank tea, you know how quick it will dye something, especially something white. So I don't suggest wearing anything white while doing this. Alright, so let my water boil, and I will be back in just a second. And I say boiled very loosely because you don't actually want it to boil. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. As soon as my water starts to have the little bubbles in it, I turn it off so that way it's not too hot. And then you're just going to take your tea bags. I mean, if you're from the South, then y'all know all about tea. If not, you have to get your tea bags wet, and, well, as I'm messing up my tea bags here, you get your tea bags, soak it in the water, there we go, and you let them sit for a few minutes, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, now, if you did let your water come to a complete boil, that is perfectly fine. Just make sure you let it cool enough before you start touching it. I don't want anybody to get burned. Alright, and you can see that the water is a lot darker. Now, you can let it sit for 5 minutes, or you can let it sit for an hour. It really doesn't matter. Personally, I like to use it while it's still a little warm, but that's just my preference. Really, you can do whatever. I have used it when it's nice and cold, and it doesn't make a difference as far as what we're going to be doing. Let's see if we can get the camera for you, everybody to see. Yep, okay. So then what you're going to do is come over to your table and lay just a just one sheet of paper. Make sure everybody can see me. Lay the one sheet of paper. Oh, I didn't hit my jewelry off. Crap. Okay. If you have rings on, I do suggest you take them off. Unless you're like me with a few that never come off. Anyway. My tea might still be a little bit warm, but you just dab it in the water. Hopefully everybody can see what I'm doing. Oh, not much. Okay, so it'll turn a little bit. Okay. So you, sorry for the babbling. You dab it in the water, and then you literally, yeah, my tea is still a little bit warm, but you run it over the paper. And you don't want your tea bag, oh yeah, my tea is actually still kind of warm, crap. You don't want your tea to be too hot, like mine about is, but you just run it all over. Your tea bag don't need to be dry because you're literally using what's in the bag. And don't worry if, you know, it looks a little screwy. If you're in a situation where you can hang it up, it really does well. I have hung mine up during the summer when I can go outside. But anyway, you flip it over, and since my bag's kind of dry, get a little bit more water, and you do the other side. Anyway, if you can hang it up, like I said, it really does well. But if not, doing it laying down is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, you can do designs. Like if you were to leave this right here to dry, you would have a big dark splotch right there. But since we've got both sides done, I will sit here and try to rub it out and make it a little bit even. And a good way is to kind of hang it a little bit. Yep, and there we go. And what I'm going to do is move it over to the side, and then we start on the next piece. And you just keep repeating with your paper. Now, you can do it only once, which I do sometime when I am being lazy. Or, let's see, so I don't feel like I'm talking to thin air again. Let's move over here a little bit. Okay. You can do it just once, which is what I have here. Let's see. Maybe I didn't cut my head off again. Anyway. This is the color, hopefully you can see, of doing the tea one time. It's perfect, but it's a little light. And then this one is the tea twice. Now, if you choose to do it twice, make sure you let the paper dry before you put the second application on. So you can tell it's a little bit lighter, but nowhere near like the white paper. So really just depending on what your mood and what you like, you can do it once or twice. Alright, and then once all your paper is dry, it is going to be kind of crinkly, and honestly, if you have pretty handwriting, that's great. Go ahead and put your holes in it, or however you put it in your book of shadows, and write your heart out. My handwriting sucks, so I need lines on my paper, so I have to put it through a printer to get lines, which we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, I'm going to finish this and be right back with y'all. Alright, now as I was saying, I have to put it through a printer, so this is my next step. You take your fully dried paper, one sheet at a time, and lay it on a cloth or a ironing board with a cloth. And you take a iron. I've been doing this for a few years now, and it wasn't until this past summer did I learn this trick. I don't know where it's been all my life. Anyway, I have my iron set on cotton, but it really doesn't matter because you're not going to put a lot of time into letting it sit like you would if you are ironing clothing. Now, I have been a little brave because this does go a little bit quicker. And if your iron isn't that hot, go on and do it this way. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. And as you see, it gets the paper damn near back to as flat as what it was. I know it's not quite as old as what I like, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So, this is the tea covered once paper that has been ironed, and I will send it through the printer on both sides. Alright, so this is the notebook paper that I use. Oh, my camera, so I don't want to do right. Anyway, this is the notebook paper that I use. You can use any type of paper. Mine's a little thicker. Anyway, I found that if you put it through the scanner and you put it on color, you get the best results. So this is my finished product after it has went through the scanner. I don't know if you can see it very well. Let's see, you can see a little bit. Let's see, bring it closer. Yeah, so you can see the lines. Now, it don't have to be much for me personally, as long as I have a little something to go off of. And you can see it better in person than what it's showing up on my video. But anyway, there you have it, ladies and gents. That is how I make my Book of Shadows paper. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Again, if y'all have and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Next time, I am going to do a video, or however you want to say it. Next time is going to be about how to make a prosperity candle to bring in some prosperity to your life. Whether that be money, good fortune, but it's going to be how to make a prosperity candle. So be sure to subscribe so you get the notification when I get it posted. Thanks again for coming and watching my rants. I hope you all enjoyed it. Until next time.